Closest PB is a low 49.
And we're off.
So we get to start off with a very exciting part of the run, Series Station. It's kind of a joke. It's not really that interesting. It's the same every single run. But yeah, both of these runners are just gonna do the normal Series Station. We're just gonna run in here and take 5 hits from Midley's tail, because that's the fastest way to get through this room. And then they're just gonna run away.
I believe we have a meme category, and it might be the only one in our community, called True Completion, where one of the requirements is you actually can't just get bodied by Ridley in series. You actually have to hit him with the full 100 shots for your time to count.
Tremendous sync between the two runners right now. The Nintoaster only a few frames ahead, and Etley just changing. Magnet Stairs Room really getting the best of our runners. Toaster taking a slight stumble there.
And a 45.87 from Zmusic. And Toaster struggling a little bit with the steam, finishing with a 38.76. Series, especially the last room, can really be trolly if you don't get the first shot on everything. You can just kind of get chain steamed, kind of like Nintoaster did there.
Yeah, that's the thing about that steam. The cycles are made so that you can basically just jump right through, but if you're a tiny bit late, you'll get hit by every single one.
Zmusic, the first one to touch down on Zebus, gonna make his way through the first portion of the game, which is pretty well the same in every category. Make their way down to Morph Ball, pick up Alpha Missiles, come back up to get bombs, and then go set up for early supers. Based on these runners' PBs, I don't think we're going to have route variants. I imagine they're both going to run old route. I actually don't know if either of these runners do or have done new route, but I know both of their PBs are with old route.
I'd be very surprised if Zmusic does a new route run, because he's been grinding down the old route record for a long time now. Like, since as long as I've known him as a runner, he's been just doing old route. So the beginning, like I said, is always the same. It's the same in every single category, so it's not super interesting. But both runners are just picking up their Morph Ball and first missiles.
Coming up into the climb, we may have our first strategy separation. I mean, obviously the objective is just to get to the top as fast as possible, but there's two fundamental ways, and I'm not sure which way they're going to opt to do. One, which what Zmusic's doing right now, is the wall climb, just wall jumping your way to the top, shooting the pirates. And then the other is the behemoth climb, which is a series of ledge grabs up the center. You don't actually have to kill any pirates. It's slightly slower, but the difference is fairly inconsequential, and Nintoaster looks like he's going to be opting to do the ledge grab climb.
That's actually pretty interesting. Nintoaster started off doing the wall jump climb, then switched over to behemoth climb, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of weird hybrids of the two strategies. Since they're only frames apart, it really doesn't surprise me that there's a lot of different ways to incorporate both techniques.
So Zmusic with a really nice 4:45 bomb time. Toaster right behind him. The 508 bombs. Getting pretty decent drops from BT. He's leaving with full missiles and full health. It's not the worst thing in the world if you leave that room without full missiles, but you want to have at least a few missiles. Because you're going to want to farm some of the waivers in Terminator if you don't have any. Because it's one of the most effective ways to get them back. It looks like Zmusic is going to be killing these waivers. They have a 100% drop or a 50 out of 51 drop chance of dropping a missile if you're at full health. So it's very common. It's almost 100%.
51 is kind of an obscure number. I'm curious how they came to that number. You would think a multiple of 8 for a series of bytes to pull from, but
well, it's the chances out of 102, so it's like 2 out of 102, which makes 1 out of 51. Still a strange number.
Zmusic completing the first major sequence of the game, picking up the early super missiles, which is what makes speedruns so, well, speedy.
Yeah, that allows you to skip the first mini-boss Spore spawn. Otherwise, he would be required.
A moment of silence for the Spore spawn we never get to visit.
I mean, unless they decide to do a meme route. I mean, you don't even visit Spore spawn in 100%.
Zmusic with a 7-minute, 30-second charge pickup. That is a very impressive time, but not unexpected from the current world record holder for this route. What I presume to be this route. We'll know once they get to Red Tower if either of them are actually going to opt to do new route.
I'd be willing to bet that Zmusic isn't doing new route. He'd be insane to do it.
I would be honestly shocked if he did, but you know what they say. You don't want to assume things.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going down. Just what I expected. Alright, so let's see what Toaster decides to do. Looks like he's also going down. So we're having an old route race. And Zmusic at Crate, setting up for his Crate quick kill. Nintoaster with a really nice entrance into Crate's lair there.
Flawless quick kill from Zmusic, and he's on his way to get Various Suit. Not sure if Nintoaster's going to do the missile variation or the charge variation. We definitely just saw the missile variation from Zmusic there, which is slightly faster, but the charge variation of the quick kill is slightly safer since you lock his hand into place, so you don't actually have to worry about him like ninja blocking a super.
The only issue about the charge method is that you use 4 supers unless you decide to missile him, which is pretty unlikely. Looks like he's going to use a missile setup unless he debates entire chat and commentators. So yeah, he's doing missile. Saving himself a super. So he got pretty good crate drops too. Why can't I get those drops?
Pick up the crate E-Tank here. Not sure if that's a race safety thing or if he normally picks that up. I imagine it's a race safety decision.
Yeah, it's definitely a race safety. I couldn't imagine getting that the time he has with crate tank. That'd just be crazy. But yeah, it looks like he's going to be doing a 4 tank. Same with Nintoaster. He might have potentially a 5 tank run from both of these runners.
I'm honestly not too surprised to see these runners going for the safety. Early game, especially Fantoon, can be pretty unforgiving, and the extra health for having 4 tanks, presuming they pick up the Botwin E-Tank for Dragon, will make Shine Sparking a little less dangerous because you can survive more hits from chain damage if you get a bad position when you get the final Shine Spark through her head. In race setting, you don't want to be dying to either of those.
So all three, or no, these 2 runners are required to get 3 E-Tanks. And the fastest ones for that are actually in the way. You've got the high jump E-Tank that Jay just picked up. They picked one up very early on before entering Brinstar at Terminator. That's the name of the room. And then there's going to be one after a mini boss in Meridia Botwoon that will give a 3rd E-Tank. And you're required to have 3 to survive the final Rainbow Beam attack.
Zmusic with an interesting strategy there. He kind of does a hero shot charge with a charge shot to kill King Kak, so he doesn't have to worry about getting trolled. Definitely an interesting and for him very consistent way to dispatch of the real first boss of the game. A 13-minute even speed booster for Zmusic here. Zmusic playing with very little ammo here. He's down to 1 missile and 1 super. Fortunately, he's getting ready to... He picked up the wave missiles to give him a little bit more, but 2 supers coming from Speed Farm is kind of the absolute minimum to get all the way to Fantoon. And that's assuming you don't need a super to use Doppler on Fantoon, and assuming the Sobas don't actually drop a super for you. You're relying solely on Kak attack drops at that point.
I mean, yeah, so you really want to be leaving Warfare with 2 or 3 supers. I mean, 2 is the absolute minimum, really. Well, minimum if you're not going to farm. Yeah, it looks like Zmusic might have to farm. Oh, lucky super drop. So depending on if Zmusic does Ocean Fire with a missile or super missile or whatever, that can really effect as ammo for Fantoon, because with this ammo, if he farms every single CAC attack and nothing else, he'll have one super for Fantoon. Ooh, pretty bad drops from them, just missiles.
You know, I think the only really unfortunate thing about both runners doing old route is we don't actually get to see the best beam in the game.
So I see that you're a Spazer fan, then.
I mean, everybody should be.
Zmusic casually getting a really nice red tower right there.
Do you know how precise that position is to get that down grab in red tower?
You have maybe I don't even really know. I want to say maybe half a tile, but that's kind of just making up a number. It's definitely less than a tile, though.
And that saves, assuming you're comparing first attempt for both, about what, a second to 2 seconds over the more traditional hero shot method.
Yeah. I mean, it's 10 times better than hero shot. Should always go for it in your runs. Looks like neither of the runners went for Alpha Spark.
Which is really surprising. When you pick up the Kraid tank, you actually have the energy to do that, to save a little bit of time.
Yeah, I usually see runners do an Alpha Spark because they have the health when they do 3 tank. See what looks like Zmusic is gonna go for a missile fly. It bonks the door, unfortunate. Nintoaster really close on that down grab. Still managing to get back up though. So red tower wasn't too terrible to him. Because usually when red tower goes bad, it chains.
That is probably the understatement of the century, my friend.
Yeah. But when red tower goes well, it really goes well. Alright, so Zmusic is at one of the first major RNG points in the run, Fantoon. So let's see what pattern he gets this time.
It's worth noting fast patterns are 1 second after Fantoon starts moving, mid patterns are 6 seconds, and slow patterns are 12 seconds. So there's essentially 22 seconds that could be lost in this spot. And he gets a fast pattern out of the gate and nails the X Factor.
Alright, no super rare right fast. And looks like a mid. So not the worst pattern, fast mid. Also, he got a lucky super drop from Fantoon. Ideally, he'll be leaving this fight with 4 supers. So, 4 super drops would be the best thing you could get right now. And he didn't get those.
Look at the health Z has leaving Fantoon here. 306 energy is unreal. Nintoaster using a super, but getting the full ocean fly.
I mean, I'm just not gonna lie, that was a really clean Fantoon fight.
Getting a fast mid gave him second fastest pattern, only 5 seconds slower than the fastest pattern you can get.
Looks like Zmusic going for left side attic. So 2 different strategies for attic. One is you go on the right side, that's the normal strat and it's much easier. Or you can do what Zmusic just did and do left side attic, which is a bit faster and also a lot cooler, but a lot more difficult and risky. So yeah, props to him for doing that. Looks like Nintoaster getting a troll pattern from Fantoon.
Yeah, slow out of the gate.
Slows are just way too common.
Oh, and Nintoaster accidentally released his charge shot before the X Factors went off, so didn't get the kill there and initiated a third round here.
And got the cruel right slow. Ooh, this health is very risky. He's gonna get health bombed.
Yeah, the biggest downside to that is he's not going to be able to do, unless he's familiar with left side attic, he's not going to be able to do an attic with which he's familiar because he doesn't have the power bomb to do the normal setup to kill the first 3 key hunters there.
Yeah, that is true. Because power bombs are actually useful in that room for dealing a ton of damage. You usually don't use power bombs to deal damage too often in this run, but this is one of the few cases you do it. So Zmusic doesn't really need to farm anything. He's got a lot of resources right now. I mean, supers would be really nice for him, actually. But this super count is good enough to kill Batu. Looks like Nintoaster is going to farm the bowling here to get a free power bomb. Because that's a basically 100% power bomb drop. You're actually unlucky if you don't get it. This looks like Zmusic is going to skip the farm in here. And Nintoaster going for a right side attic.
Given Zmusic's current ammo, honestly not surprised that he is opting not to do any real farming. He's got all the power bombs he needs to get through Dragon. If he can land the X Factor on Botwoon, he's got enough supers to get through Botwoon and have extras to get to Dragon. Health-wise, got more than enough to do the spark up in Mount Everest. I mean, he's sitting in a good spot.
So, Nintoaster did a temporary blue suit there, or attempted to in attic, which would save him a lot of health, because the Shine Spark would deal a lot of damage. Oh, and Nintoaster unfortunately goop sparking. That's really bad. I feel for the man. Anyway, he's at the bowling Chozo now. So he has some time to just do whatever he does when he's not running. He has pretty decent health. Right, and Zmusic going into Batu now. Getting the setup and taking him out with a nice 1 round. And he has pretty good ammo too. It's actually really good ammo after Batoon. And more supers would be nice, but don't really need supers. You only need to get into the door, or doors for Dragon. Because you've got the one in Coliseum and then the Ghidorah. Looks like Zmusic is going for the full halfie, and yeah, that's it. So it's a really tight Shine Spark, and it looks really cool. Ooh. Zmusic accidentally Kojak that super into the floor. Luckily, he has another. So he's entering the Dragon fight with absolutely no supers, but it's fine.
Nintoaster getting a Vile Plume to the face.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate Vile Plume there. Sometimes you can just get grabbed by the ceiling. Zmusic looks like he's gonna get a 3-round out of this. Oh yeah, Dragon was only 2 missiles from death there. And first try Spike Suit from Zmusic. That's a double frame perfect trick. But basically, that just stored a Shine Spark. And now he's going to use that to cross the Coliseum really quickly. But yeah, the main difference between Spike Suit and Blue Suit is that, which Zmusic didn't actually get, is that you can run with the Spike Suit. So you're just going to see right here, he's going to Shine Spark all across the Coliseum. And that saves quite a bit of time.
Well, the Spike Suit has its own little quirks, though. While you can run, unlike the Blue Suit, you still can't do, or you're prevented from doing inputs on your controller that would initiate a Shine Spark. So if you're standing still and you press jump, or you're midair and you press up, things along those lines, you would still, or you would initiate the spark before you wanted to. So all the way from Dragon's room, or from Dragon's room to the space jump room, then back up to Coliseum to get in position, you have to avoid making those inputs before you want to actually initiate your Shine Spark.
Looks like Zmusic is gonna form the Puyos in that room. And Toaster taking out that snake.
Fortunately, getting some decent drops. Botswana is very notorious for being a troll when it comes to drops, and Nintoaster used all of his supers there, securing the kill, but was fortunate to get the supers he needed to get all the way to Dragon.
Yeah, so luckily for him, he's not going to have to farm before the fight. Ooh, unfortunately, sparking into the wall right there. So this is what Coliseum normally looks like when you don't do a full halfie.
Very well executed by Nintoaster there.
Yeah, definitely. Good backup. Now he's going to be heading into his Dragon fight. So Nintoaster going for some Shine Sparks on Dragon. It's the fastest way to deal damage.
Yeah, if you hit Dragon with an optimal Shine Spark, you can do a maximum of 2,250 damage to her, and she's got 6,000 health. So at a minimum, you need 3 sparks to kill Dragon. You can reduce that to 2 by using the X Factor strat, which each particle that actually hits Dragon's belly will do an additional 300 damage. And then if you opt to use some missiles or supers, you can reduce that even further, making a 2-spark very feasible on Dragon and making it so you can dispatch with her pretty quickly.
Nintoaster needs to be really careful right now. Spark kill might not be the safest choice if this out, because he's very low.
This current health, 2 hits chain damage would be the end of it.
Alright, he took Dragon down. He had me worried for a bit there.
it looks like he decided to take it safe when he saw what his health looked like. Zmusic with a sub 30 lower Norfair elevator. So Nintoaster did not get blue suit, did not set up for Spike's suit, which means the next most optimal strategy is going to be the Womple jump, which is a pretty precise jump. But if you can make it over the top with this run speed, you can actually maintain the momentum you get from setting up for the jump all the way across the Coliseum, just tapping your jump button when needed. Looks like he bonked on the way up, but still getting through pretty quickly.
Makes sense that he didn't do the blue suit or anything because of the health. Because you need to have the health to get across, and I'm not sure it would have been the safest idea had he just taken damage there.
So fortunately, Nintoaster is in a position now where he's got all the ammo he needs to get to Coliseum, or not Coliseum, get through Wasteland. As far as supers, you need 4 to get from Dragon to the Metal Pirate Room. 5 gives you 1 for the Ridley Idor in the event that you get trolled on drops from the Ninja Pirates, which is pretty rare, but it can happen.
Looks like Nintoaster's going for the power bomb in the Plasma Pirates room. That'll make you only have to hit the pirates 1 time.
I believe that only affects the 2 that are climbing along the walls, but it does make it 2 less shots you have to make to knock it out. Zmusic getting started with the Ridley fight here. It's a simple 20 shots and dodging the tail.
His tail was coded very well.
I sense a Kappa attached to that.
Yeah, there was. Zmusic with a nice Ridley kill. And yeah, he's skipping that 5th E tank. Ridley tank is kind of out of the way, but it's a really good safety. I mean, it's not really out of the way; it's right there. But for a runner like Zmusic, it's too far out of the way, even though it's right there.
Yeah, I think it's. Correct me if I'm wrong, Beast, but I believe it's technically faster to get the Ridley E-Tank than it is to get the Crate E-Tank. But by the time you get to this point in the game, you're already done with Phantoon, you're already done with Dragon, and you're already done with Ridley. There's really not much need for an extra E-Tank unless your health is abysmally low, and even then, not necessarily. So, although it's technically faster, it's really not worth picking this one up over the Crate E-Tank. Is that an accurate summation?
I actually don't know, because you usually don't skip Crate tank and grab Ridley tank. I mean, that's just really weird in my opinion. I'm not sure if anyone's RTA timed it, but I'm going to trust you on that. I mean, I imagine it would be, since you don't have to kill those B-Toms. And because the Ridley tank room has no enemies, but the Crate tank room does have enemies in it.
Well, not only that, but there's less movement in the room itself because the E-Tank is right underneath the door. You don't have to move to the other end of the room. That's kind of what I was thinking. Nintoaster opting to take north route to get to lower Norfair. Technically speaking, south route, if done optimally, is somewhere between 2 and 3 seconds faster, but that also requires you to get a setup for a space jump with speed booster through a door, and then kind of open up the next 2 doors and maintain momentum to speed do a space jump through another rather long and obnoxious room. If you mess up either of those, it can cost quite a bit of time and actually make north route end up being faster. And I believe most runners tend to find north route more consistent to do early on. So it's very possible that for the sake of consistency and just maybe what he's familiar with, Nintoaster opted to go north route, even knowing it's a couple seconds slower.
So Nintoaster is going to be going for fast pillars. There he goes. He's got it now. We'll save him some power bombs.
Making quick work of the worst room in the game, making his way into Amphitheater, which for the longest time, at least as a casual player when I was younger, used to think that this was the actual worst room in the game.
Actually, the worst room in the game is Magnet Stairs. Let's be real here.
Honestly, I think that's fairly subjective. Like, I tend to believe that it's double chamber. I imagine some runners are more likely to believe that the worst room in the game is the actual worst room in the game. Toaster's health surprisingly low, leaving the middle pirate room. Interested to see if he stops to farm for some health before he goes into Ridley, or if he's going to go in with 165.
It looks like he's going to be going in with this health. Actually, never mind. He's going to farm. Oh, unlucky super drops there. Oh, now all the bugs are just dropping supers for him. Must be really annoying.
I've seen enough RBO runs to know that those bugs never give you what you need.
Yeah. Never.
Some phenomenal RNG from the Metroids for Zmusic allowed him to use supers on every single one of them and just go full speed through every room. Massive time save getting that luck with supers.
Let's see this baby skip from Zmusic. Yeah, just jumping over this Metroid really nicely. And he's through.
Toaster clearing out Ridley at the same time here. Still on a pretty solid pace as well. Opting not to pick up the Ridley E-Tank, even though he's leaving with only 195 energy there. You're going to have to use some more safety strats or farm up for some health somewhere on his way out of Lower Norfair to make sure he doesn't take a, what's the clinical term for it? die to death, I believe is what Sephi calls it.
I think he's just gonna go for it. Like, I feel like that's probably what he's gonna do. Like, not really care so much about safety, just if he dies, he dies. I think that's what he's gonna go and do. With 51 energy, just barely enough to take 3 hits from the key hunters coming up.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Nintoaster just kill some key hunters with health this low, and with the fact that a well-positioned plasma shot can kill a key hunter in a single shot. Particularly in the Three Musketeers, he very well may just opt to kill them to not have to worry about getting bodied too many times.
Alright, so Zmusic now done with Mother Brain, or Mother Brain 2 at least. But he didn't actually damage himself down below 100 energy, so he's going to take a few hits from Mother Brain now. Going to cost him a few seconds. But yeah, he has no more challenges left in the game. Mother Brain is kind of just a big point in the run because you have to... That's the last chance you have to die, really, because if you get comboed by some of Mother Brain's attacks, then you can die really quickly.
Nintoaster is finally out of Lower Norfair and making his way up to get to Golden 4 as well. Chose to actually, opted to do some rather aggressive strats in the Three Musketeers room. He was, I believe, barely one hit away from death when he got out of there.
Yeah, I think Zmusic forgot to damage himself down because he did a 4 tank, and he usually doesn't.
The muscle memory in this game is real. So now we get to see if our first runner is going to make the objectively correct decision and let the animals die.
I mean, what do those animals do to you?
I mean, recently?
Ever.
They cost me frames.
I see how it is.
Toaster getting a very nice space jump through Parlor to get rid of those bomb blocks right before Terminator. We almost had a high five situation here. Zmusic finishing up his run with an official SRL time of 44 minutes and 23 seconds. Congratulations, Zmusic, on your win.
And that's a casual 44 in a race with 4 tanks. Just casually doing that. I mean, that's a really good run. Zmusic is incredibly consistent and strong runner. So yeah, congrats. And I would also like to say that is an SRL PB for him. Alright, so Nintoaster making it through Turian now.
Definitely in a good ammo position coming into this fourth Metroid room. Doesn't have to worry too terribly much. Opting to use the super there was kind of surprising considering he had all the ammo he needed. If he had used missiles, he wouldn't have had to worry about much of anything. But he got lucky either way, and he's going into the big boy room with full ammo and nearly full health.
Alright, so let's get this baby skip Nintoaster. I believe in you. I had that block. I mean, the block might have just gotten in the way when he was doing it, but yeah, he got grabbed. He is facing right, though. That does save him 40 frames, but he is looking back at his run, so I say never look back, but he wants those 40 frames.
I'm starting to sense a trend here, Beeps. You're for saving the animals. You're for looking left. It's almost like you want to kill the frames.
Do I? Alright, not getting sniped. Alright, so Mother Brain just takes 20 charge shots. But Nintoaster has to be pretty careful. So after 16 shots, Mother Brain will start doing catch-up beams. That was a pretty fast catch-up. And that deals
like it's nothing.
Yeah. Those deal 100 damage per hit. Nintoaster remembering to damage himself down at Mother Brain. So yeah, Nintoaster is done with the hardest part of the run now. Now he just has to sit back and wait for this baby cutscene to finish up and then just do the escape and beat the game.
At this point in the run, there's definitely very little risk of death. There is one person who I think I've ever seen die on Mother Brain 3. They will remain anonymous so that I don't have to shame them in front of the entire speed gaming audience. But the risk of death is pretty low. There are a lot of places you can lose time in the escape sequence, but as far as the ability to finish a run from here on out, it's fairly safe.
Were you the one to die at Mother Brain 3 then?
I was not, and I bet you about 10 people in chat know who I'm talking about.
I mean, I'm thinking someone died at MB3, and it's probably different than who you're thinking about. Actually, it's definitely a different person. Either way, it is possible to die to MB3, but you just have to basically stop playing the game. Or just get really trolled.
It looks like I was correct that somebody in chat knew who I was talking about. Because Sephi clearly knows who I'm talking about.
Oh, I guess you were thinking about the same person then.
All in all, a really clean escape from Nintoaster. And looks like Nintoaster finishes with an official SRL time of 52 minutes and 38 seconds. Congratulations to Nintoaster. That was definitely an impressive run from both runners.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's very possible we're going to be getting the runners in here for an interview, for a post-race interview. While we're waiting on them, I do want to let everybody know that we do have 2 more races today over on Speed Gaming 4, I believe it is. We're going to have a match here very shortly. And then here in about an hour, we're going to have another one on this channel. And then we'll have some more matches tomorrow evening for the tournament.
But it looks like we are going to have our runners coming in into voice in just a bit. They just have to get set up. All right, it looks like we have Nintoaster in here. Nintoaster, how did you feel about this run?
Yo, what's up, guys?
What's up, C? Looks like Nintoaster is still actually getting set up real quick, so...
Z, that was an impressive run from you. 44-21, 44-23 official SRL time with picking up a safety E-tank in the early game. How do you feel about your run there?
I'm like incredibly happy about that one. Very, very blown away with how well I played. It's actually pretty nervous.
Yeah, that was an insane run. I mean, especially with Crate Tank.
Yeah. I actually fumbled with that tank. I'm so not used to getting it. I don't think I ever have gotten that tank, so I had to like figure something out right before the run.
Oh, wow. I mean, I saw that you were kind of struggling at the end there with Crate Tank with not damaging yourself down at Mother Brain.
Yeah, that's too. I totally forgot about that. You don't really want to do that with a 3-tank run. And I remember seeing someone die to like not damaging down recently, so I kind of got nervous there.
I mean, it is better to lose like a few, maybe 10 seconds and not damaging yourself down than dying, so...
Yeah.
So based on forgetting to damage yourself and forgetting to pick up, and actually picking up the Crate Tank there, you would have been incredibly close to your current world record with the pace you were on. And I actually said the 44 because I didn't know if you wanted to announce it before you submitted it, but you were telling chat you got the 43 by a frame.
Yeah, it's like it's got to be the worst 43 possible, but I mean, you know, I probably won't actually end up uploading it. I'll probably just stream it and try and get a better one at some point, but oh well, what can you do, right?
I mean, it is still a 43 though.
Yeah, it's still 43.
Even if it's a frame, but still.
I'm hoping to beat it soon, especially with this tournament going on. Have to keep fresh with this stuff.
Well, definitely wish you the best of luck with the rest of your tournament, man. That was an incredible race, and congrats on your victory there.
Thank you.
Nintoaster, are you set up now?
Looks like he is having some troubles real quick.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Now I can hear
The
you.
wrong input device selected. My bad.
Not a problem, man. That was a really solid run from you. How do you feel about your performance tonight?
I mean, I can't say I agree. Even by my standards, that was pretty sloppy. But I mean, whatever. It was. I mean, racing the KPDR world record holder, so I was just kind of trying to survive and basically survival strats. I mean, that's what can you do against somebody that's that good? Like 44-23 in a race is just insane. So. Congrats to Z. That was pretty awesome.
So that's how you're playing then? You're just basically playing to survive?
Yeah, I mean, the only real chance I think I had was if he somehow died or whatever. Like, I mean, it's not you know, you do the best you can, but I mean, I wasn't going for any like really stupid strats that I would normally like in a run. So I just kind of wanted to just complete the run and hope for the best. But yeah, he's a solid player, no question. So, you know, it was more about just completing a run on my part and just keeping the race interesting as much as possible. But yeah, I mean, it's not the worst. I mean, I'm okay with the time. I thought it would be much worse, honestly. So I guess I'm okay with it.
I mean, that's very understandable in Toaster. Just playing as consistently as you can, basically, and trying not to die.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Trying to not die strats. We'll stick with that.
Anyway, is there anything you really want to say, Giggles?
I mean, all I have as far as signing off is congrats again to both the runners. It was a good performance. It was a good race. Beyond that, we have the next race, I believe, has just started over on Speed Gaming 4. If you want to go support Antinomy and In No Rush, I'm sure they would appreciate it. And after their race is over, we should have, let me see who's running. We should have Ivan and Charlazard racing right here on Speed Gaming.
All right, so do you have any last comments about your run in Toaster?
Not really. I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. I mean, I'd like to do better in the future. Hopefully, I can improve my time because I'm not really near my PB in terms of average times right now. So hopefully, a little bit of practice will shake the rust off and maybe do a little better in the future.
Once again, GG to both of you.
Thanks.
Both Z and Nintoaster. That was a really, really good race.
Well, if you have nothing else, Beeps.
I think that might be it for us.
All right. Thank you guys for taking the time for an interview. Great job again. And with that, I believe we are going to be signing off, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening of Super Metroid races.
Have a good one.